our good friend Charles Barkley, who said this on TNT. Anytime somebody begins a sentence with, I hate to say this.
Dun, dun, dun. Pause.
He said, I think the best thing that happened to the Milwaukee Bucks was Giannis getting hurt because they have unleashed Jrue Holiday, the aggressive Jrue Holiday. I think he's going to be fantastic in the finals against Chris Paul. If Giannis is 85 to 90%, I'm going to go with Milwaukee. The best thing that happened to the Bucks was Giannis getting hurt. I kind of understand what he's saying there, but can you translate?
The best thing that happened to the Bucks was Giannis getting hurt. All right, the translation is by default, and Tim Legler said this last week on the show for us, because Giannis garners so much attention, give Giannis the ball. Put Giannis in position to be successful. Now, for whatever reason, I think individually in Giannis's game, there is room to improve his decision-making and understanding the advantage that he has in terms of matchups, right? But with Giannis off the floor, Jrue Holiday is bringing the ball up at the one position, naturally, go figure. He's attacking the paint. Chris Middleton's on the wing. You've got Brook Lopez, who decided to occupy the paint and be beast in game, 5? There is a more natural, classic feel to this team when Giannis is off the floor. More than anything, I think you saw the confidence of the rest of this unit in terms of knowing that they can show up and get it done in a big-time moment, and particularly that confidence in Middleton and Holiday. So is this team better without Giannis? No. When you talk about the length of a season or the task ahead in terms of winning an NBA championship. In these last 2 games, did you get to see glimpses of guys that you don't, particularly Holiday and Lopez, that you don't typically see because of the way Giannis demands the basketball? Yeah. And so I understand what Charles Barkley meant, but I am actually very curious because think to what happened to Phoenix as well. Chris Paul missed those first 2 games. Chris Paul comes back. Not only was Chris Paul trying to find his own rhythm, it sort of slowed down what we all kind of identified as Phoenix's strength against the Clippers in terms of getting up and down the floor. I don't know if there's a little bit of a monkey wrench to work through when Giannis gets back on the floor. One, in terms of his stamina and getting back to it.
Who they could be.
And now, it looks different when Giannis is on the floor.
Well, think about it. Brook Lopez can't sit in the paint and be a post-up center with Giannis because you got to the paint needs to be open for him to operate. He's at his best when he is obviously going downhill and has the paint. You spread the floor so it pulls everybody out, and he's so difficult to guard one-on-one because he's one dribble, one step away from getting to the rim at every moment, anywhere on the floor inside the arc.
100%. And then you look at Holiday, too. Changed. Right? Like Holiday, when Giannis is on the floor, you see Holiday attacking more when he gets out in transition. What turned out to be the game-winning basket-ish in one of those games in the series, when he gets this rebound and he attacks and is able to finish. Yeah. Giannis on the floor, the lanes are just not the same. By no means is this team better without Giannis in the big picture. But I think there is room for more.
But they're not terrible without him. Like that's the thing. They're not better. They're not better off without him, but they're not worse off without him. Isn't that fair to say? Can they win the championship if he's not?
I don't think so.
If he's not healthy.
No.
They can't beat the Suns.
I don't think they beat the Suns without Giannis being healthy.
Vegas agrees with you.
I think that Giannis on the floor is still about to be tricky. The Suns, to me, over every team that we've got, there's only 2 teams left, relax, Monica, duh. But over every team that we saw through the playoffs, period, continuity, confidence. You talk about a team that looked like world beaters without their star. 2 games, roll the Clippers.
Cameron Payne just had himself, while Chris Paul was out with COVID, right?
Listen, I will say this. If Trae doesn't get hurt and the Bucks are missing Giannis, I think that the results of this series look different.
If Trae Young stays healthy,
if Trae doesn't miss,
you think the Hawks could have won
without
that
Giannis?
Series. Yeah. And then when he tried to play in Game 6, you could just see
between his stamina, the foot, the whole bit, he
had no push off at all, and it just his game was completely different. There's no doubt about that. Chris Paul, by the way, I also found this interesting. Remember, for Chris Paul, it's never been about him not coming up big in the clutch. It's usually been he got hurt. Remember the hamstring, obviously, that got him against the Rockets, and he did all he could to stay healthy. He just couldn't get himself healthy, right? That's one that always stands out in your mind, him constantly grabbing the hamstring. In this playoff so far, it's not like he's been injury-free. Remember the shoulder nerve injury that he had, right, early on? He was dealing with that for a while. That kept hurting him. It was against the Lakers when he went down pretty hard. He and LeBron got tangled up, and he went down pretty hard on that shoulder. Then he got COVID. In the middle of the playoffs, you get COVID.
Womp.
Right? Like, and he's got to go through the quarantine. So right in the middle of the playoffs, like we almost forgot, right? As you mentioned, now it was fortunate that some of that time he spent out was in the break between series. But then he just revealed that he was playing in the conference finals with a torn ligament in his shooting hand. Again, you're a shooter. What would a torn ligament do to affect your shooting? And this is a guy that still got 30, right, in clinching games. So to have that, now that's healing up, but he's still dealing with that. So he's been banged up. Giannis, obviously not 100%. This series is going to not come down to those two.
No.
I mean, this series is not coming down to what Chris Paul does or what Giannis does. I'm telling you. This series is going to come down to a guy we're not talking about.
Hold on, let me think. Do I agree with you? I don't know, Hahn.
You think it's still going to come down to Chris Paul won the conference. He won the conference finals with huge plays in the obviously the two clinching games, the main games, the last two games. He went off. But I don't know if in the NBA finals we're going to watch a series where it's going to be dominated by one or the other. I think it's going to be an unsung hero that's going to win it for their team.
Who's unsung? Booker or Middleton? You consider them unsung?
I don't think it's going to be either one of those. I'm telling you, I think there's going to be a matchup that we're not talking about.
Are we teasing this for tomorrow? Or am I allowed to say
I think we should probably wait till tomorrow.
Okay, great.
I just want to set you up on that.
I think that matchup is going to be important, but I don't know that for all that we are talking about in terms of Chris Paul getting to this moment, if he's not going to have a big part of the puzzle in terms of how this thing goes down. Even if it's not scoring. If he averages 11 assists, set the whole thing up.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.